about some of the options that you have for next year at the middle school, okay? So you are all in 6th grade right now. The counselors will be coming for Tannehill, it's on Monday, to talk to you guys about classes for next year. I'm not sure when they're coming to Fine Arts Academy, but soon, okay? In middle school, you get 8 classes. As a reference point, here at Tannehill, you get 6 classes right now, okay? ELA, which is language arts, math, science, social studies, PE, and band. Those are your classes right now. You have 6. At the middle school, you get 8, which is really 2 other electives that you're going to take. So everybody next week is going to be choosing classes. You'll choose a math, whether you want honors or not, science, social studies, and an English class. Okay, all of those have different options about whether or not you want honors or not. That I'm not here to talk to you guys about. The counselor will deal with that. You and your parents just kind of decide on that. Does that make sense? The other thing that you're required to take as a 6th grader is a PE class or athletics, okay? So you can either take PE or you can take athletics. So if you want to do sports of some sort, so football, volleyball, tennis, soccer, basketball, track, any of those things, cross country, all of that falls under the umbrella of athletics. If you don't want to do any of those sports, that's completely fine. You still have to take PE. Does that make sense? Yes? There is a third option. If you don't want to do athletics and you don't want to do PE, you could do what is called color guard. I'll talk more about that in a second. That's another band class that I'll talk to you about later. Does that make sense? Okay, just put that on hold. Color guard is there. Now, you have 3 other elective choices, okay? On your elective sheet that you're going to get from the counselors next week, there's going to be a yes or no question. Do you want to do band? Since we're in band class right now, I'm assuming you're going to continue in band because you all should continue in band. There's not a single person in here that's like, you suck, you shouldn't do band. No, all of you know enough. You should be doing band. Does that make sense? Okay? You're all, actually, this is a pretty good class, all right? So, band would be your next thing. Then you still get 2 other electives to do 2 more things that you want to do at the middle school, okay? So there are lots of options. Some of your options are home ec, art, theater, choir, coding. What am I missing? There's health. I think that may be is that in 7th or 8th grade?
8th.
I think it's 8th grade.
There's a health class, but I don't know if it's 7th or 8th grade. But point being, there's lots of options for you. Most of those options are just semester-long classes, though. So if you would like to do coding and theater, you can. You would take one, and it's only going to take up one of your elective choices, because coding is a semester-long class and theater is a semester-long class. Does that make sense? Okay. Then, if you still wanted to do home ec, which that's a class that lots of people like, and music is another class, which y'all are in band, so you don't need the music class because you already know all of the things. Okay. But if you wanted to do home ec and art, okay, you could do all 4 of those things, and you still have band and athletics and all of the other things. So you have so many options at the middle school. Does that make sense? Okay, there are so many things that you can do, and you have room to do all of them in your schedule. I have band kids in my bands at the middle school that are in all of these things. They're in cheerleading, they're in dance, they are in choir, they're in color guard, they're in another class that I'm going to talk to you guys about in just a minute called jazz band. They're in all sorts of things. There are lots of things that you can do at the middle school, and you have time to do those and band because of how many electives they give you. Now, does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Yes? Okay, so cool. You can do band, so you're just going to check yes, you want to do band, and then on the next list, you're going to say number what order you want to do the other things, and then the counselors will put you in whatever class they can and give you your top choices. Does that make sense? Okay, now, after you are in band, okay, we are going to place you in a different class depending on how you audition. So let's go ahead and start handing out our audition papers, and I'll talk about what bands we have. We have 4 different bands happening at the middle school, okay? So our top band, the very top band, is honors band, okay? This is the band that just went to contest. They got all 1s from all of their judges. We made history. It's the first time we've gotten that sweepstakes from all 6 of the judges. They did awesome at contest. This is that top group, okay? So some of you may end up in that top group. It is mostly 8th graders, but I've got about 10 7th graders in that honors band group, okay? The next band is called Wind Symphony, okay? This would be the second band. group did not go to contest this year just because of weird things having to do with COVID last year, okay? That's the only reason they didn't go this year. But they will go to contest next year, okay? So next year, they'll be going to contest just like Honors Band, and that group is kind of a more even split between 7th and 8th graders, okay? So a lot of really good 7th graders will be in Wind Symphony, but there'll also be a lot of 8th graders in there, okay? And by the way, all of these bands have all of the instruments. So they all have flutes, oboes, bassoons, clarinets, saxophones, trumpets, horns, trombones, euphoniums, tubas, and percussionists in all of these bands. The next band is called Symphonic Band, okay? So Symphonic Band is going to be also kind of an even split between 7th and 8th grade, maybe a few more 7th graders in there. Does that make sense? Okay, and then our 4th band is Concert Band. Now, we do have another group that I don't talk about because you're already done that class. We have a 5th group called Beginning Band, but you have already done Beginning Band by the end of this year, right? Okay, so if you get out of Beginning Band, say you're in Beginning Band right now, which you are, okay? You get out of Beginning Band, and the next step up is to go to Concert Band. And that's completely fine, okay? So you have learned all of the things from Beginning Band. You are no longer a beginner. You are in Concert Band. Yes? Okay? If you do really pretty well on this audition and how you've been doing in class, some of you may go to Symphonic Band, okay? If you're doing awesome, like you're top of the class, doing awesome, doing all of the things, you learn lots of scales, you do all the things, some of you may go to Wind Symphony, okay? If you are top of the class, better than everybody else, and I have enough room in Honors Band, some of you guys may go to Honors Band. Does that make sense? Okay? So there are 4 groups. I don't know which group you're going to be in. We've already, as directors, kind of started talking about where we think kids might go because we know how you play. We know how you do things in class, right? Okay? So we've already started talking about where we might think you go, but we don't know yet. Because this audition paper that I just handed out is what you're going to be based off of on the auditions, okay? So everybody look at the music side of the audition paper for me. Everybody has a little bit of music that they're going to be learning, okay? By the way, this audition is a test grade for everybody. So everybody is going to record this audition for us, whether you're moving and not going to be in band here next year or whatever, okay? Everybody is doing this because it's a test grade, okay? The minimum, going to Concert Band, you're going to record, like everybody has to do, no matter what, you're going to record at least line 8 on that sheet. Everybody look at line 8, okay? At least line 8, that's notes that we're playing in our music right now, it's rhythms we're playing in our music right now. None of that is above any of you in this room, I promise, okay? So you'll at least record line 8, okay? If you want to be in one of the other groups, so maybe you want to be in Symphonic Band, you're going to record line A and B. Do you want to be in Wind Symphony? Well, you need to look at like A, B, and C. Does that make sense? You want to be in honors? Start looking at A, B, C, and D. Does that make sense? Okay. Now that's not a guarantee. If you record like A, B, C, and D, that's not a guarantee that you're going to get in honors because you are auditioning against all of this year's 6th graders, including at Fine Arts Academy, and all of this year's current 7th graders. Okay. So you're going to be in bands with them next year. So all of the bassoon players that are at Tannehill in 7th grade right now, y'all are auditioning against them. Okay. All of the flute players that are at, did I say Tannehill? At BMS, or you're auditioning against all of those 7th graders. Does that make sense? Because you're going to be in bands with them, okay? Turn the paper back over on the front side. Okay, that front side is information about auditions. It says a little bit about the bands, but this audition A2 that you got, that piece of music on the back, is not the only thing that you're going to play. You're also going to play scales for us. And we've all started working on scales. I know this class did it yesterday in here. Saxophones have done scales, right? Yeah. So everybody's been working on scales. If you would like to, if you're just doing it for the grade, you're moving or something, or you just want to be in Concert Band, you're going to record one scale and you're going to record line A of that audition music, okay? That is the bare minimum. That will get you a good grade in the grade book. Yes? Yes? If you want to be in a higher group, you are going to record more scales. And the more scales you record with correct notes, the higher the group you're possibly going to be in. Nod your heads if that makes sense? Yes? Okay. So, more scales, that you have 9 scales on your 1-octave scale page. If you can play all 9 of those scales, guys, with a great sound, and you record all 4 lines of your book, guys, you're probably at least going to be in Wind Symphony. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay? If you record like 5 scales, guys, that's pretty good. Okay? So, the more you do, I cannot guarantee if you record all 9 scales and all 4 lines of your audition that you'll be an honors band. I can't guarantee that because I have on some of your instruments. I've got some really good players in 7th grade that we would have too many people in honors band, cause I can't have 10 bassoons in honors band, right? Or I can't have 10 oboes, don't give me that look, okay? But I can't have a band full of flutes or a band full of whatever. But you're auditioning against them, and if you work really, really hard, you might be able to get where you want to be. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay? Alright, but if you do really, really well on this audition and record lots of scales, you're probably at least going to be in win something. Everybody got it? Yes? Okay, cool. Now, after your initial band, let's go back to like these other 2 electives. If you love band and want to see me more than once a day, you check yes on band, and you just want to play your instrument more, we offer another class called jazz band. Okay? So jazz band is a class that I opened just this year. This year was the first time we had it, and we're actually going to contest with our jazz band at the end of April. I'm taking jazz band to Stephenville. We're going to Tarleton State University, and we're gonna go perform, and then we're gonna go listen we're gonna go out to eat, and then we'll go back, listen to some jazz bands, and then we're gonna hear a saxophonist named Tia Fuller, who is the saxophonist that played on the movie Soul. And she is also the saxophonist that plays for Beyonce. Like, she's going to be there, we're gonna hear her. It's pretty awesome, okay? So, the jazz band does things, they have performances and whatnot, but if you want to be in jazz band is a full year class. You could say, yes, I want to be in band, and I want to be in jazz band, okay? So if you want to be in jazz band, that would take up one of those classes, but then you could still do coding and home ec if you wanted to, or 2 other classes. Nod your heads if that makes sense? Okay, so you still have another elective, it doesn't take up all of the things, okay? The other option that I told you we would have is called Color Guard. And again, this would be in addition to being in band, okay? So Color Guard, but Color Guard also is a PE credit. So if you don't like athletics and don't want to do PE, but you want to do Color Guard, you could do that, okay? If you want to do athletics and Color Guard, you can do that. They don't cancel each other out. But Color Guard is, how many of you have ever been to a high school football game? Do you see the kids on the field that like spin flags and throw them up in the air and do all of that and when the band plays? That's what Color Guard is, okay? So we have a lot of band kids that are in Color Guard. All I would say with Color Guard is stay in band and do Color Guard, because then when you go to the high school, you do band and what we call Winter Guard, which Winter Guard is just the competition Color Guard that goes to competitions. And they just got 5th place overall. They got 5th place overall, like out of 40 Color Guards that in their last final competition on Saturday, which is really awesome. Like, that's a really good place to be in. So our Color Guard is really, really good. So you could join Color Guard starting next year if you want to do that. Okay? Any questions about jazz band or Color Guard? Yes.
Can any instrument do jazz band?
Yes, any instrument can do jazz band. And once you get into high school, people tend to double on another instrument. The typical instruments for jazz band are saxophones, trombones, trumpets, okay? But in middle school, I allow any instrument to be in jazz band. So right now I have a clarinet player in my jazz band, and I have a French horn player in my jazz band, none of which are jazz instruments, but it's fine. We let them play, and we do all that. And you learn the new style, and then if you continue in jazz band in high school, you would learn another instrument for that, which oboe learns other instruments for high school anyway, because we don't march oboes, okay? That being said, I forgot one more thing. In jazz band, we also have guitar, piano, and bass guitar, okay? So those are options for you in jazz band if you already know how to play those instruments, okay? So I do auditions for that. Just check yes, you want to be in jazz band if you want to, or put that as number 1 or 2 on your sheet. But if you already play piano, bass, or guitar, and you want to do that for jazz band, you're absolutely able to do that. My piano player right now is a bassoon player. My guitarist and bass player are both percussionists, but they also know how to play guitar and bass. So I didn't teach them how to play those instruments. They already knew, but they come play with us in jazz band on those instruments and then do their regular instruments in band class. Okay? Yes, sir.
Could we maybe like double up on an instrument, like do one instrument and on a different song do another instrument in jazz band?
Are you talking piano, bass, guitar?
Like what do you have in mind?
Like saxophone and guitar.
Yeah. So if you, like I said, I'll do an audition for that, and if that's something you're interested in doing saxophone jazz and guitar jazz, and you make it on guitar, if I have 2 guitarists, I might let you do that. Yeah, that's a possibility. More instruments, are there other instruments in next year's band? The only other options in next year's band that we don't already have are, I've got saxophones that will switch to tenor sax and bari sax. I have clarinets that will switch, some will switch to bass clarinet. So it's instruments in the same family. I will possibly have a piccolo player, but that is normally a 7th grader that I put on piccolo for 8th grade. Does that make sense? Okay? And that's only one person generally out of all of my flute players. Yes?
So if you do jazz band, would that be an entire school year?
It will be an entire school year. So jazz band is a full year class and color guard is a full year class.
And so if you do it like in 7th grade, do you not have to do it in 8th grade?
You don't have to. You pick whatever you want to do. So as far as I'm concerned, the only thing that I really, really care about is that you put band on there. As far as jazz band and color guard go, that's up to you. Like if you just want to try it, sure, try it. You don't have to do it, like that's totally up to you, okay? I care if that's there. I don't care if these are here.
Also, you can do athletics and color guard?
Yes, you can. You can do athletics and color guard. Yes,
If you do athletics and color guard is one of your electives?
color guard is one of your electives, okay? So color guard is another full year class, and they do that because there's a whole lot, it's like beginning band, beginning color guard, there's a whole lot to learn. And then in 8th grade, color guard starts going to contests. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's a full year. Yes? Talk to me later, but like, I would assume that most of you are doing band, because band is amazing. Cool? Alright, any questions about just middle school in general?
It's scary there.
Okay, so I do teach at the middle school, so if you've got any questions for just about middle school in general that you want to know, now would be your chance to ask a middle school teacher. You got me, and I can answer. Yeah.
Are you gonna be teaching the flutes in 7th grade?
Okay, so in 7th and 8th grade, you'll be in a band with 7th and 8th graders, and you'll have all the instruments. So in one band class, we have 60 to 70 kids in it, and there's flutes, oboes, bassoons, clarinet, there's all of the instruments. I teach honors band, okay, but other teachers help. Ms. Gonzalez teaches wind symphony, but other teachers help. Ms. Alonso teaches symphonic, but other teachers help. Right now, concert band is about to split off and do something else, and I will be doing concert band, but other teachers, like, we all teach everybody. Does that make sense? So if you are at the middle school in band, you're going to see me, but you're also going to see Miss Alonso and Miss Gonzalez. And maybe Miss Goings, I don't know what the schedule is next year, so who knows? It depends on where the traveling is, because we all travel to different campuses. Yes?
Will you be able to switch your instruments?
We don't switch instruments.
So you'll have to stay with your senior one?
Yeah, we don't switch instruments. We can talk to you later, but we don't switch instruments because it would be counterintuitive. Like, you've spent a year on this, you would have to start over in beginning band, which just doesn't make sense for you as a person to do that. So, yeah.
In middle school, do you use lockers?
No, you don't use lockers for regular school, okay? So you do carry all of your stuff with you. In band, you will be issued a locker, kind of like we have cubbies here, to keep your instrument and stuff in, but it's only for instruments, just like the cubbies are.
And for
winter
small.
Yeah. Yes?
So if you do jazz band and color guard, you won't be able to do art or theater, I mean?
Let's see. If you're, are you in athletics or not? Okay, so athletics, band, jazz band, color guard, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do, it wouldn't fit, okay? So what you'll do on your sheet is just say yes or no to athletics, yes or no to band, and then after that, you'll just number your electives whichever order you want. So if art is first, you'll be in art, and then whatever your next semester
So
choice
like
is.
what you really like versus what you don't like?
Yes, you'll just number them and order them, and the counselors will put you in where you want, where you go.
So is it not guaranteed?
It's not guaranteed, but they do their best. Does that make sense? Okay, and with the semester-long classes, you may not be, like, if art is your first choice as those semester-long classes, you may not be in art the first semester, but that's why they're only semester-long, so that you can be in it the next semester. Does that make sense? Yes.
Do we have lockers on
There are athletics lockers, yes, okay, to keep bags and all that stuff. Yes.
Can you do a semester class multiple times?
No, that's a question I get all the time. Can you do a semester class multiple times? The answer is no, because it's exactly the same material. It would be like taking 6th grade math twice, or 6th grade, like, would you like to do beginning band again? And start over, like, no, so that doesn't, so you don't wanna take the same class exactly twice, cause it's literally the exact same information. If you were in art twice, you would do the exact same projects twice, which is weird, okay?
I'll do it.
Alright. Any other questions about middle school? Alright, I think that's it. You guys will see the counselors like next week, and they will, we're not done with class yet, but that's it for this, okay? So you'll see the counselors next week, and they will help you choose all the classes. My biggest deal is put band. My next thing is, make sure your audition is in by May the
Fourth.
4th.
Be
May
with
the
you.
4th be with you, okay? So May 4th is when your auditions are due, and that's how I will decide which one of these 4 bands you guys belong in. Yes? Cool?